kiongozi wa haki. Wananchi wanasema huyu ni wetu, kiongozi wetu mzalendo, Kithure Kindiki. Tunasema Ruto na Kindiki, mambo ni tano tena. Tunasema Ruto na Kindiki, mambo ni tano tena.
Asante sana, asante sana, shukrani za dhati sana, asante. Tumesikia hiyo, asante sana, asanteni sana. Atakaribishwa na katibu mkuu atakapopata wakati wake wa kuzungumza. Your Excellency, sir, prior to your arrival, I was also stating that your office has led in having the youth, because at 25 years, I, Brian Mushiri, you have enabled me and entrusted me with your events. Thank you very much, sir. Your Excellency, sir, at this juncture, allow me to invite now the Vice Chancellor of this great university, that is Pwani University. Wapi makofi yake? Vice Chancellor wetu wa hapa Pwani University, Professor James Kahindi. Makofi kwake.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, EGH, the Cabinet Secretary for Education, Mr. Julius Migos Ogamba, the Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, Honorable Salim Mvurya, the Principal Secretary for Youth Affairs, Mr. Fikirini Jacobs, the Principal Secretary, State Department for Science, Research and Innovation, Professor Shaukat Abdul Razak, the Deputy Governor, Kilifi County, Honorable Flora Shibule, Honorable Owen Bayer, the Kilifi North MP and Deputy Leader of the majority in our National Assembly, Kilifi County Women Representative, Honorable Gertrude Mbeyu, County Commissioner, Kilifi County, Mr. Josephat B. Watt, Chairman of Council of Pwani University, Professor Mohamed Badamana, members of the Pwani University Council, staff and students of Pwani University, members of the Pwani University Management and Senate, officials of the Pwani University Student Association, faculty, staff, and students of Pwani University, distinguished guests, gentle ladies and men. It is with profound honor and gratitude that I welcome you, sir, Your Excellency, to Pwani University on this historic occasion of inaugurating the new School of Agricultural Sciences and Agribusiness Complex, and also to mark the International Youth Day. We don't take this for granted. Thank you so much, and feel welcome to Pwani University anytime you feel like. We would like to state that Pwani Universities has made significant contribution in advancing education, research, innovation, and talent productivity as a critical pillar of the Kenya's economy. You saw for yourself, sir, the Vonward students who are part and parcel of the Pwani University community, and we are happy that you joined them for this particular occasion. Allow me, even though we have given you a brief, to mention one thing that stands out in Pwani University with regard to the topic of this week, that of youth. We would like to say, sir, that Pwani University is at the forefront of training young girls from underprivileged backgrounds in machine learning and artificial intelligence. This initiative aims to address biases in data science, enhance women's capacity in technology, and contribute to improved health, public health outcomes. By equipping these youth with critical skills in AI and data analytics, we are fostering a future where our health systems and our education systems are not only data-driven, but also equitable and inclusive. Your Excellency, we would like to appreciate the fact that you left your busy schedule to come here, and on behalf of the Pwani University community, I extend our deepest appreciation for you and the government, its unwavering support in advancing higher education and training. In particular, we are grateful for the government's consideration towards building of hostels under the affordable housing program. Shukran sana. The government's investment in institutions like ours is a testament, Your Excellency, to the commitment of building a prosperous and self-reliant citizenry and the nation as a whole. As you officially commemorate that wonderful SASA building and include us in the youth activities, we feel that we are no longer alone, but we are with you every step of the way. We therefore want to assure you that Pwani University stands ready to contribute meaningfully to the realization of a transformational and prosperous Kenya. Karibu sana, jisikie nyumbani na uwe na wakati mwema. Shukran sana.
Asante sana, Your Excellency, sir. With your permission at this juncture, I will request that you set your eyes on the screen while I invite the CEO of the National Youth Council, Madam Gloria Wawera, for the youth testimonial.
At the National Youth Council, we are committed to amplifying youth voices. We work every day to achieve the Article 55 imperative that the government should make it possible for young people to associate, to participate and be represented in political, social and economic spheres of life. To that end, there's a bunch of initiatives going on, and we act as a bridge and a chance for you to connect to the opportunities.
The National Youth Council comprises of an elected council, an appointed youth advisory board, and the Secretariat. NYC is an affirmative action platform that fulfills the spirit of Article 55 of the Constitution, which mandates the government to take measures to ensure that the youth have opportunities to participate, associate, and are represented in political, social, and economic spheres of life. To this end, our programs focus on coordinating activities of organizations working in the youth sector. We invite you to register your youth-serving organization on the YSO registration platform on our website. Join a community of like-minded colleagues tackling similar challenges in a sector working group and contribute to legal and policy reforms. To enhance youth association, the National Youth Council supports the youth through programs like Youth Connect, Faraja, and Utumishi. Through the Youth Connect, we champion regional collaboration. Faraja focuses on mental health and resilience. On the other hand, Utumishi champions volunteerism and service to our communities. The National Youth Council is keen on youth actively participating in all spheres of life through programs like Wazo, Kijani, and Fursa. Wazo connects youth to opportunities available.
Thank you. Santeni sana, video imekuwa ndefu. Vijana mpo hampo? Vijana hai. Vijana hai. Hi. But, Your Excellency, Deputy President, the Cabinet Secretary for Youth Affairs, Honorable Salim Mvurya, the Cabinet Secretary for Education, PS is present and all protocols established. Mine is simple, to acknowledge Your Excellency that vijana wapo, and to invite the Principal Secretary for Youth Affairs, Creative Economy. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, the Honorable Salim Mvurya, Cabinet Secretary for the Ministry of Youth, Creative Economy and Sports. Huyu ni tunamuita mzee wa Chan 24. Na yeye ni namba 9 wa ile timu yetu ya Harambee Stars. Yule jamaa alifunga bao, yeye mwalimu wake ni huyu. Na pia hapa tuko na waziri wetu wa elimu. Huyu ni waziri wa kuangalia maneno ya mafii. Ni jamaa ambaye amepanga kazi sawa sawa kabisa. Na tunakutambua. Tuko na PS mwenzetu ambaye ni Professor Abdurazak Shokat, PS wa Science Research and Innovation. Wabunge wetu ambao mko hapa, Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Gavana. Vijana power! Hapana, hiyo yenu si power. Vijana power! Hiyo yenu ni ya betri. Vijana power! Asanteni sana. Your Excellency, the Deputy President, I first want to recognize officers wetu wa serikali, wa ministry na State Department. Mahali popote mlipo, simameni tafadhali ili muweze kuonekana. Asante. Your Excellency, pole kwamba nimekufanya ugeuze shingo. Uangalie nyuma kwa sababu kaeni. Tulipokuja hapa, baba yetu, sisi tumepata hawa officers wetu wamekalia hivi viti. Nikasema unajua, kwa kuwa hii ni siku ya vijana na wewe umekuja kwa sababu ya vijana, turuhusu warudi wakae na vijana kule nyuma ili wazungumze na vijana zile programs za serikali, ili vijana wapate nafasi ya kuja mbele. Ndio maana wengi zaidi wamekaa huko nyuma wanazungumza na vijana in the spirit of mentorship, na wamekuja wengi kabisa, Your Excellency, kusimama pamoja na vijana. Asante sana. Pia vile vile, Your Excellency, nimeambiwa nitambue kijana, lakini naheshimu wakati wako. Tutamruhusu, atatufungia shughuli baadaye ili tutandike jamvi sawa sawa. Hizi sherehe huku, sherehe ni sheria, Your Excellency. Kwa hivyo utaturuhusu, tutafunga na huyo kijana, atatupanga vizuri. Lakini Your Excellency, niruhusu dakika moja, kwa sababu hii ni shughuli ya vijana na tuko katika chuo kikuu cha Pwani. Na mimi nashukuru kwamba nilikuwa mwanafunzi hapa, nilifuzu hapa na nafanya masters yangu hapa. Naomba kwa heshima ya wanafunzi na vijana wa hapa, tumruhusu huyu bwana Andrew Mteti ambaye ni president wa Pwani University Students Association kwa dakika moja peke yake, Your Excellency, atuangushie madini alafu tuendelee. Asante sana. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the second in command, Professor Kithure Kindiki, esteemed guests, our Vice Chancellor, who is always overworking, and above all, the resourceful use of this republic. Vijana power! Vijana mpo! Vijana mpo! Your Excellency, we are really honored to have you here, and we immensely request you to come again and again. Pwani University loves Pwani University. Sisi tunapenda wageni, and tumekukaribisha 10, and we say thank you for choosing us, and thank you for choosing Pwani University. Your Excellency, with me, I have two, because if I don't say this in the evening, the people I'm leading, the 10,000 plus, they might not type something very good in our social media platforms. So Your Excellency, with your permission, allow me niguze mbili tu, si tatu. Mambo yangu ni mawili, si matatu. So Your Excellency, we have witnessed you and your initiative, and we really love your moves, Your Excellency. We have seen you doing empowerment, but we, as PUSA 2025, imagine I'm just 3 months old in office, and we are doing a lot of stuff down here. The Prof can really attest to that. So Your Excellency, we, as 2025-2026 regime, we have copied your thing. We have decided to take the problems to us and become part of the solution. Instead of agitating, we are part of the solution. Here in this university, we have a problem of students suffering from fee arrears, and we don't have enough bursaries. So we, as 2025-2026, we have decided to come up with a program, an empowerment program, a welfare kitty that will be supplementing the school, the normal school bursary. So Your Excellency, we as 2025-2026, from our small budget, we have allocated to amount of 500,000. Tumesema this time around, comrades hakuna kusikia fit, tunasukuma mambo ya masomo. So we'll be launching this program the last week of October. So we are calling upon your empowerment to come upon us, but at this time we are also lobbying. Unaweza fanya kitu before you leave, so that we really drive to this. Your Excellency, the far end, ukiangalia huku behind the tent, we have identified that area as an insecurity hotspot. Unfortunately, back in 2023, we lost students. We have lost a female student back in 2023 at that area. This problem is orchestrated by lack of street lighting. So Your Excellency, because hii nataka nikuombe, na hii ukinifanyia mimi nitakuwa nimeoverwork, wanajua. Nitakuwa nimeoverwork. Hii ukitufanyia Your Excellency, with your humility, hii tunaomba ifanye. We need street lights. Atukipata tu moja ile tunaitanga mulika mwizi. So ever since I came to the coastal region, na kienzi Kiswahili ndio maana tunafanya mambo hivi. So tumekukaribisha tena na tunakuomba uendelee tu hivyo hivyo. We are starting with you and we know we are going to deliver with you. Vijana tujiami, tukue watu waungwana. Let us be part of the solution. Sini sawa. Ambarikiwe. Thank you.
Asante sana. In short, Your Excellency, kwa kuwa mimi nimekuwa president, naweza summarize ile maneno amesema na neno moja, kwamba vijana wameinama sana. Na kuinama, Your Excellency, nikusaidie. Hii majenzi ni lugha ya majenzi, Your Excellency, sio wasiwasi. Majenzi wajuzi kama waziri wangu na waziri wa education wanaweza kuwa hawezi kujua moja kwa moja. Kuinama, Your Excellency, ni kuinama ili lunch iruke ama sapa iruke. Sasa kuinama ni kwamba unainama kidogo ndo lunch ipite, yani hakuna kakitu. Ndio jamaa alikuwa anajaribu kusema, Your Excellency, pamoja na hii maneno ya street light. Na Your Excellency, mimi nakushukuru sana as the Principal Secretary for the State Department of Youth Affairs and Creative Economy. Nakushukuru kwa sababu umetupa nafasi pamoja na Mheshimiwa Rais kama vijana kuangalia maneno yetu sisi wenyewe kama vijana. Na nashukuru kwamba umeturuhusu wewe mwenyewe kuja hapa Pwani University leo kutuzindulia wiki ambayo ni muhimu sana kwetu, wiki ya vijana katika taifa letu. Hii launch ya National Youth Week, Your Excellency, itazunguka mikutano katika kila region. Na mwisho wa siku on the 12th, ambayo ni Tuesday next week, tutakuwa Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology for the commemoration of the UN defined International Youth Day 2025. Tunashukuru sana kwa sababu mmetushika mkono, na niombe vijana wenzangu ambao sote tuko hapa. Ni kweli kwamba sababu moja ambayo imenifanya mimi nisukume hawa ndugu zetu wakae na nyinyi kule ni kwa sababu sisi kama vijana tuko na nguvu na uwezo. Tunaweza wa kukimbia haraka sana. Lakini ukweli ni kwamba tunahitaji hawa baba zetu na mama zetu watuonyeshe ile njia ambayo tunafaa kushika, ili katika kukimbia kwetu tusipotee njia. Ndio maana nimesema ni muhimu tukae na hawa ndugu zetu huko watuonyeshe maneno. Na tunashukuru sana Your Excellency, hata katika cabinet yako kuna vijana mnaoonyesha njia. Katika PSS tuko mnatuonyesha njia. Na sisi tunashukuru sana. Na Your Excellency, nikimalizia, najua kwamba vijana wengi wako na ambitions nyingi sana. Hawa vijana wetu wa siku hizi kufikiria kwao iko haraka sana, hata kushinda umeme. Lakini sasa mimi kila wakati nikikaa na wao najaribu kuambia kwamba hata tuwe na maoni makubwa namna gani, na vision kubwa namna gani, na malengo makubwa namna gani, kitu cha kwanza ambacho lazima kiwe ili malengo yetu yatimie ni taifa letu la Kenya kwanza lazima liwe, ndo malengo yetu yaweze kutimia. Na hii huwa naisema ili kuomba vijana kwamba tushirikiane katika kulitunza jamhuri yetu, ili wakati ukifika malengo yetu yatimie katika mazingira ya amani. Your Excellency, sitaki kusema mengi zaidi ya hapo. Nataka nikushukuru kwa kuja hapa. Na niwaombe vijana ambao wamejitokeza kutoka kwingi. Hapa Your Excellency, tuko na vijana wametoka Taita Taveta County. Vijana wa Taita Taveta County wako wapi? Vijana wa Taita Taveta wako hapa. Vijana wa Tana River, utapiga comrade power tu DP asikie bwana. Wewe mpaka usimame. Hiyo ni ya zamani, ni ya Gen X. Wale vijana wa Mombasa, yes. Wale vijana wa Lamu, vijana wa Lamu, Your Excellency, sauti wa haitoki sana. Asante. Vijana wa Kilifi, asante. Sasa hapa tuko na vijana wa Coast Region. Na naamini program zetu nyingi ambazo Mheshimiwa Rais Deputy atatueleza ambazo zinakusaidia sisi, naamini kwamba tutazikumbatia ili ziweze kubadilisha maisha yetu. Sitaki nizungumze zaidi ya hapo. Nataka nichukue fursa hii adimu kwa heshima na unyenyekevu nimkaribishe Cabinet Secretary wa Ministry ya Youth Affairs, Creative Economy and Sports, namba 9 wa Harambee Stars, the Honorable Salim Mvurya, aje atuzungumzie na kutambua wengine. Asante.
Asante sana katibu ambaye pia ni kijana Jacob Fikirini. Mheshimiwa Deputy President, Your Excellency Dr. Professor Kithure Kindiki, Waziri mwenzangu wa elimu Julius Migos, Deputy Governor Mustahiki ambaye yuko hapa, Mustahiki Chibule, Mheshimiwa Owen Baya ambaye ni mbunge wa sehemu hii, Mheshimiwa Aisha Jumwa na Mheshimiwa Kenga Mupe Apewe, Mheshimiwa Gertrude Mbeyu, viongozi wa tabaka mbalimbali akiwemo Profesa Kahindi ambaye ndiye mwenyeji wetu siku ya leo, Profesa Shaukat, katibu wa mambo ya sayansi, mabibi na mabwana, asalamu alaikum. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Basi Mheshimiwa Naibu Rais, kabla sijasema mambo mawili, kwa sababu shughuli hizi ya serikali leo tumeziunganisha. Kuna shughuli ambayo imesimamiwa na Waziri wa Elimu na shughuli ambayo inawahusu vijana. Niombe tu nafasi Your Excellency nimuite waziri mwenzangu Julius Migos aweze kusema machache, alafu tuendelee na ratiba. Karibu sana waziri, karibu sana.
Your Excellency, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Professor Kithure Kindiki, allow me to ride on the protocol that is already established and state to this great team here that as a Ministry of Education, hatutaki hawa mayouths wainame. We don't want you to bend any further than you've already done. So, Your Excellency, it's a great honor and privilege to join you here today on this auspicious occasion. Today, we will be privileged, as we have been, to witness you officially open the School of Agriculture, Science and Agribusiness complex of this university. May I thank you, Your Excellency, for finding time out of your very busy schedule to preside over this event. Your presence here today signifies the seriousness that this administration attaches to not just higher education, but education at large and the affairs of the youth that we are addressing today. Indeed, the very initial steps that His Excellency the President took upon assuming office was to commission a comprehensive review of the education sector and to set the stage for reform. The university subsector was of those that targeted, and we have assumed sustainability and relevance of the university and education sector in Kenya. When this administration assumed office, Your Excellency, public universities were saddled with debts nearly of 70 billion. The worrying debt situation pointed to both financial and governance challenges. Through a targeted reform process, we were working to reverse this trend to ensure that our universities are well positioned to fulfill their mandate of education, training, and research. Through the student-centered funding model, Your Excellency, our universities now report greater cash flow. They are now able to pay their staff, salaries, and remit statutory deductions on time. Access to both university and TVET education has grown as students are provided with scholarships and loans on the basis of their need. This academic year, Your Excellency, for instance, the Higher Education Loans Board and the Universities Fund will support 201,695 first-year university students, in addition to 257,523 continuing students, over and above the 237,000 TVET trainees that will also be supported. Indeed, Your Excellency, quite recently, we were able to reduce the university fees by between 15% and 40% of the programs, therefore making education that much more affordable and sustainable. The budget, Your Excellency, for Higher Education Loans Board for the financial year has also been increased from 36 billion to 41 billion. The Universities Fund has been funded to the tune of 16.9 billion to offer scholarships to both students in universities and TVETs, and we are encouraging these students to apply to join universities, join TVETs, so that they can benefit from these reforms that the government is undertaking. Your Excellency, These resources will support the operations and development of our universities, especially as they prepare for the admission of the first cohort of the basic education, competency-based education and training students in 2029. The CBC class of 2029 will be the first class to join university. We have implored upon university councils and vice-chancellors to be prudent managers of these resources for the benefit of the students. But they should not just be guardians of these resources, but they must also use these resources to generate more and engage in innovative resources mobilization initiatives, including strategic public-private partnerships. That is the path to a sustainable future in our education sector. The focus, Your Excellency, is not just on universities. We are implementing a comprehensive strategy to empower young people through tertiary education and training in both universities and TVETs, as well as through the recognition of prior learning. In TVETs, for example, we have embarked on a campaign to increase the enrollment in order to train more of our students. From last year, Your Excellency, October, when we had an enrollment of 375,000, up to June this year, we've raised the number to 700,000, and we intend to raise that number to 2 million by the end of this year, so that our students, including the ones that are here, can be skilled and be job ready when they leave the institutions to contribute to the economy. In TVETs, Your Excellency, I've indicated that we have also introduced something called modularization in TVETs, where you can go into a TVET institution, take 3 months, study a course, go out and work, come back and continue as and when you are able to. You can walk in and walk out, so that we do not keep you in an institution for longer than you should be. So you need, as a youth, to take advantage of that so that you can get skills for you to be able to contribute to the economy. So that musiname sana, sindio? In conclusion, let me commend the leadership of Pwani University for the work that they have done to accomplish the projects that you are officially opening today, which you've actually opened. This is a result of a strategic vision for the future and prudent utilization of resources. Through such facilities, Your Excellency, as you've seen the labs in here, we create better opportunities for all our students for training and research. Thank you and God bless you, and I wish you well in this afla. Asante.
Thank you very much, Waziri. So, Your Excellency and all the leaders, because of time, mimi sitakuwa na hotuba ndefu. Lakini kwanza niseme vijana power, vijana wisdom. Basi nichukue nafasi hii kwanza kuweza kuwashukuru Profesa Kahindi na usimamizi wa Pwani University kwa kuruhusu kwamba sherehe hii tuweze kuifanya hapa. Mheshimiwa Deputy President, nataka kushukuru sana kwa sababu najua ratiba yako ni ndefu. Lakini wewe kupata nafasi leo katika sherehe ya vijana inazidi kutupa nguvu na kuwapa nguvu vijana, kwa sababu serikali hii ya Daktari William Samoei Ruto na wewe inawaheshimu na kuwatambua vijana. Na ndio maana katika serikali tuko na vijana, manake Fikirini yuko 29 na ni katibu, na kuna vijana wengi ambao wako ndani ya serikali. Na jambo muhimu, Mheshimiwa Deputy President, ni kwamba serikali imeweza kuwa bunifu, kuweza kutengeneza fursa ambayo vijana wanaweza kufaidika. Kwa hivyo hii sherehe ya kimataifa ya vijana ambayo itaendelea wiki nzima ni sherehe ambayo tutaitumia, Your Excellency, kuhakikisha tunaunganisha vijana na fursa, kwa sababu kuna fursa namna mbalimbali katika serikali, lakini bila muunganisho wa fursa na vijana hawataweza kufaidi. Na ndio maana inakuwa muhimu tunaadhimisha wiki hii na pia tukamilishe kule Kakamega, kwa sababu tungependa vijana waunganishwe na fursa. our youth should be properly connected with opportunities in government. For us, Your Excellency, the youth are not a crisis. You know, we have over 15 million youth in our country. The youth are a source of innovation, progression, and creativity. And therefore, as a ministry, we take your direction and that of His Excellency the President to ensure that we make connections between the youth and opportunities. And that is why, Your Excellency, as we celebrate this week, there are quite a number of activities that have been aligned so that the youth of our country can be properly connected. And you know, when you are a young person, your careers are an open check. You know, you can be anything that you want. What is required is for our youth in our country to be proactive, to make the proper connections. In our country, tuko pia na watu wachache ambao wao si vijana, pengine ni vijana wastaafu kama mimi na wengine, lakini wanatumia vijana ili kuweza kufufua talanta zao. Wale vijana ambao wanatumiwa vibaya kwa fujo na mambo mengine, tunataka kusema kwamba hawapiganii talanta zao wao wenyewe kama vijana, lakini wanatumiwa kufufua ndoto za watu wengine. Na ndio maana tunawauliza vijana wa Kenya, serikali imepeana fursa. Wewe chukua nafasi uweze kuchukua fursa ya kujiendeleza. Kuna fursa za kielimu, kuna fursa za kibiashara, na Mheshimiwa Deputy President atakuja hapa atazungumzia kwa kina, lakini jambo muhimu ni kuhakikisha wakati tunapata nafasi yoyote kama vijana, tuitumie vizuri, kwa sababu jambo ambalo liko mbele yetu, hatuna nchi mbadala. Hii ndiyo nchi yetu. Na masuala ya vijana hayana ukabila, masuala ya vijana hayana maeneo, wala hayana udini. Kwa hivyo ni muhimu wakati ambao tunapata fursa tuzitumie vizuri na tuhakikishe pia tunaunganisha uwezo wetu pamoja na fursa. Kwa hivyo, Your Excellency, mimi sitakuwa na marefu, lakini kwa sababu ni waziri na pia natoka eneo hili la Pwani, Mheshimiwa Deputy President, nataka kushukuru sana serikali kwa sababu kuna mambo mengi, kuna miradi mingi ambayo kutoka Kenya yetu ijinyakulie uhuru hatujawahi kufika kiwango ambayo tumefika. Kwa sababu hii ndiyo mara ya kwanza ambayo wapwani wako kwa meza ya maamuzi. Ndiyo mara ya kwanza ambayo ruwaza ya wapwani katika mambo ya uchumi samawati, katika mambo ya elimu na mambo aina mbalimbali ambayo hivi sasa tumefika kwa meza. Your Excellency, kwa hiyo meza sisi hatutatoka, kwa sababu tunajua hapo kwa meza ndio faida iliyopo. Kwa hivyo, Your Excellency, nataka tu hakikishia wenzangu kwamba mpango wa Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya wa kitaifa unaweka maendeleo ya Pwani katikati ya maendeleo ya Kenya. Kwa hivyo ni jukumu yetu kuunga mkono rais, kuunga mkono naibu rais, ili tuweze kutimiza malengo yetu, wakati pia Wakenya wengine wote wanatimiza malengo ya kitaifa. Your Excellency, kwa hayo mafupi niruhusu nikuite ili uweze kuwahutubia. Asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. Asante sana.
Is it okay? Naomba tuketi. All protocols observed. Vijana power. Vijana hoye. Najua wengi wetu tulikuja hapa mapema na tumekaa na tumechoka. Kwa hivyo, having said that, I want to take this opportunity to give 3 reflections on why we are here today, and then we will finish. The first one is on the place of young people in our national development today and in the future. Many people have said many things, but what is not deniable is that young people are the present and the future of our nation, and indeed any nation. And therefore, when young people insist, for those of us who are older, when young people insist that they do not want to be just at the decision-making table, but they want to be in the meeting and making decisions. The reason they do that is because they are the present and the future of our nation. And therefore, the young people of Kenya must know that we in government understand how important the youth of Kenya is to the present and the future of our nation. We must demonstrate by action, those of us who have been given responsibilities, positions of responsibility and decision making, that as we discharge our responsibilities, young people must have their voice heard, but not just their voice being heard. Their input must be put into action. They ask us to do, because they have a bigger stake than all of us in our country's stability. Young people have a bigger stake in our country's stability and progress. Why? Because they have a longer lifespan ahead of them than the older people. And therefore, if those of us in responsibility mismanage the country, ruin the chances and opportunities for young people, some of us, the older folks, will get away with it and can manage the remainder of our lives, one way or the other. But the young people will have no country, no opportunity, will have destroyed their lifetime. And therefore, young people have a right to demand that the right decisions be made for the country, currently, and decisions that have an implication on the future. And therefore, I want to support what the speakers who have spoken before me have said. Young people are a resource, an opportunity, and an investment for Kenya and for our country now and tomorrow. It is true we have a number of challenges, serious challenges affecting young people today in our country. But the big numbers of our young people, fairly educated, well-skilled, maybe without as much opportunity as some of us had opportunity earlier. That big number of well-educated and skilled young people for our country is Kenya. It is not a burden. It is not a crisis. The second reflection that I want to put across is what we are doing as government to prepare the youth to take their role in society now, today, and tomorrow. So we are doing reforms across the education system from pre-primary education to university education, end to end. And when this government was put in office in 2022, our manifesto commits to relook at our education system at all levels with a view of reforming it, modernizing it, making it adaptable to the changing world, the complexities of the 21st century. And in this regard, you are aware, just under 3 years ago, there was hue and cry about the efficacy and relevance of what was then called the curriculum, CBC. The president puts up a presidential working party made up of eminent Kenyans with representatives from all the shades of opinion within the education system to look at our education system end to end and propose reforms. That working party, the presidential working party, brought a number of changes. Some of them we are implementing, others we are adjusting, because after implementing them for a year or so, we have realized there is need for fine-tuning. CBC, there was a big crisis during the 2022 presidential campaigns. Everywhere we went, the members of the public, especially parents, used to tell us, scrap CBC. From Mombasa to Busia, from Namanga to Moyale, scrap CBC. But today, we have been able to refine, fine-tune, remove bottlenecks in the CBC, and we have now come with a broader concept of public education, which we are not just calling CBC, because CBC is just a curriculum, it's just content. We are calling it CBET, that is competence-based education and training. Working on reforming modern secondary school. Important is going to happen from junior secondary school, senior school. And again, I know physically in terms of infrastructure, we have covered good ground. We can now transist our junior secondary school graduates into senior school, where they'll take pathways, not the way we've been doing it, where everybody goes to high school to study everything, but to take pathways. The last 3 years of schooling before university will involve pathways either in STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics courses, or pathways in humanities and social sciences, or pathways in the creative arts and that space which is emerging there in creativity and performance arts. And for me, it's not easy. You know, that has taken a lot of government focus, because we believe a good education system is good for the young people of Kenya, is good for the country now and tomorrow. Beyond that, we have been working on reforms in the tertiary institutions, especially technical training institutes, as the ministers alluded to. In 2022, there were 297,000 technical TTI students, tertiary institution students, which is an anomaly, because normally you should have larger numbers in tertiary institutions than the numbers in the university. But we found an inverted system where you have 1 million students in university and only 297,000 in TTIs. Today, through again the hard work of our brothers and sisters in the ministry and other stakeholders, we've been able to change that structure. And from 297, by last year we had 375,000 students. This year We have hit 700,000 students in TVETs, and next year we'll take that number to 2 million. That has not happened by itself. It has happened because it's a deliberate policy intervention by government. At the TVET level, we have introduced a number of measures that has helped us. One is the modularization that the Minister for Education has spoken about, where you don't have to come and stay for 3.5 years in a TVET institution. If you need a course for 3 weeks, and then you go and work, then you come and add another course later, you can do it module by module. Then you interface between work and education, so that you start earning early as a young person. There is no need of locking you up in a TVET for 3 years, when you can work and earn and start empowering yourself early. That modularization is a game changer and is part of the reforms that we are steering to make sure that we respond and to the modernization of our education system. We have also introduced, again, the recognition of prior learning policy, where we have many young people who may not be as fortunate as the students of Pwani University, or as I was when I was a youth. They don't have any formal training. They don't have any formal certification. But God has granted them with certain skills, talents, naturally. They can put together a table. They are actually carpenters, but they have no certificate because they have never entered anybody's polytechnic. Don't we have young people like that in the countryside, everywhere? Some are electrical. They can put together electrical appliances and do some work, but they have no certification. Some are mechanics. They do basic repairs on vehicles. They are not certified. We have said those ones, many of them are in a sector we call Juakali. The people you see doing work in Juakali, many of them have no formal certificate. So the recognition of prior learning helps those people for a short period, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks, to go to a TVET, be assessed by government quality assurance institutions like NITA and the others, get certified by the institution, but in a shorter period of time. They don't have to waste 2-3 years for something they already know. The only thing they didn't have is the certification and the formalization of that knowledge, the recognition of prior learning, modularization. Those are game-changing interventions of the William Ruto administrations around TVETs. We have also introduced dual training policy, where we are saying young people who are in the tertiary institutions cannot graduate just by studying theory, especially for skills and practical subjects. They must have exposure, industry exposure, in a practical situation. And so it's a must before you graduate. Part of your learning will be theoretical, part of the learning will be practical. So we are making sure we attach them to government projects. And when I say government projects, national government projects, county government projects, private sector projects, to make sure before they graduate, they are ready for the job and they have not learned in theory only. And so that tertiary space, we are revolutionizing it. We are adding equipment in our TVETs and so many other things that I do not have time to narrate. At the university level, we are looking at the funding of higher education. Because by the time a student is qualified to join university, they are fairly formed up. That is like the tail end of the education ecosystem. So we need to ensure 4 things in higher education: access, affordability, relevance, and quality. those are very key things that underpin a successful higher education, university education system. University education must be accessible to as many qualified students as possible. It must be affordable to those who are qualified. The subjects must be relevant to the needs of today and tomorrow, so that you don't teach students old things, things which are never relevant, the things of I don't know which century there, and you're trying to teach technology that is already, overtaken by events. That's why I was happy to hear Professor Kahindi, Vice Chancellor, mention that they are incubating learning around young people getting trained and educated around machine learning, artificial intelligence. That is the future. That is where those are the cutting edge issues that require the attention of our education system. We must make sure our education system at the university is accessible, affordable, relevant, and of high quality. I know we are still tidying up that funding space. The Vice Chancellors tell us there is improvement. Even with what we have implemented, there's a bit of improvement in terms of making sure that our university, as was happening. But still, we have issues around the means testing instrument that you're using and the banding of students in different categories, work in progress, but we are going to get there shortly. So we are looking at university from pre-primary to university as a way of modernizing our education system. That's how you curriculum, you look at their training at all levels, you change this policy, you change the other policy, fine-tune this intervention to make sure that we have a good education system. And I like what the minister has said. You are aware last week government decided to reduce fees in the university from up to 40%, some courses a little lower than that, depending on the courses. But still, there is a lot of work we need to do in our university education and tertiary education space. I am particularly impressed by the initiative taken by Pwani University. Again, Professor Kahindi and your team, congratulations. Again, the students of this university, led by, there was the Andrew Muteti. Wewe ndiye kusema hapa? Wewe ndiye rais wa hapa? Wewe ndiye fire hapa? Ni fire si fire? Fire si fire? Noma si noma? I really liked your presentation, Mr. Rais wa Pwani University. I liked your presentation because many student leaders, I dare say, even of our time, when you get a chance to talk to a government official who could help in one way or the other, they just start talking about maneno ingine hapo, mambo kidogo kidogo, small things. He said two things, isn't it? He said, first of all, many comrades are suffering. They cannot afford even the fees that they are supposed to contribute. Many comrades cannot afford. Even their upkeep is a problem. So what have they done? They have come up with a bursary kitty. And I have confirmed with Professor Kahindi that the university is supporting the students to have a kitty, so that the university has a kitty for bursaries for needy students, so that they can be able to have as many students as possible completing their university education. I was very impressed. Mr. Muteti also talked about lighting, which is a security issue. Again, to make sure the learning environment here is better than it is at the moment. I want to commit of my personal and government support to make sure that those two issues you have raised, Mr. President, will be attended to. Comrades power. Comrades power. Fire si fire. Fire si fire. Noma si noma. Tuendelee tusiendelee? Si namna hiyo? And I want to start with those issues. Okay? I am very passionate about students having access and affording university because I've been there. I've been a student at several levels, undergraduate, postgraduate, and so forth. But I've also been a university professor for many years. So I understand what it means for a student to be supported, especially those from underprivileged backgrounds, to be supported a little bit, to afford it, to finish their education. Now, I am told the students have already contributed 500,000. And the university, Professor Kindiki has told me the university has matched the students' effort with another 500,000. That is 1 million, isn't it? So, I want to match both the students and the university's contribution by an extra 1 million shillings to that kitty. Okay? But I also want to challenge you. That's not enough, because that money is not enough. I know the needs are too many for a large university with 8,285 students. The needs are many, because I know our country well. So, first, iko 500 ya wanafunzi, 500 ya university, na 1 million ya deputy president. Hiyo ni milioni ngapi? Hiyo milioni ngapi? I want to come back here after the International Youth Week. It's ending next week on Tuesday. The following week, I want to come here for two things, to this university. For two things. One of them I'll tell you later, just now. But the other one, which I will tell you now, I'll come here so that now, before you start distributing that 2 million, I will come back, and I will not come back alone. We'll come with Waziri Mvurya, Waziri Joho, and the other PS, and the other minister, and a few friends. We support further. Before you distribute that money, we again boost it. Because when we are out there and we are doing empowerment for small-scale traders, your parents, it is the same thing we need to do with the students here. So that as your parents struggle there to expand their businesses and have more income, we also empower you to get a good bursary scheme. And Mr. Vice Chancellor, please, I want that bursary scheme for Pwani University to be a model which we can replicate in other universities across the country. So I'll give you a date before the next 10 days or thereabout, after the Youth Week is over. We start with Pwani University. By that time, we'll have 2 million, and then we look for more money. And we'll be doing that every year. We'll be topping up hiyo maneno every year. Tuendelee tusiendelee? Ama namna gani? Pwani hoi. Kwa hivyo, other universities think about the students who, even if there is all these policy interventions we are making, they still cannot afford the little that they are required to input. So one way of a university showing empathy to the needy students is having a bursary scheme which helps the needy students. Now, the last thing that we are doing is we are trying to expand job and income opportunities for young people as a government. Many governments have always talked about the lack of enough jobs and income opportunities for young people in this country. But we have never had a program, an end-to-end view and program of job and income opportunity creation. We've done a small measure on one corner, a small intervention in another corner, but we don't have a comprehensive job creation program as a country. This administration is the first administration to come with a program that has several pillars aimed at creating jobs, increasing jobs, and also job income opportunities for young people. And therefore, people talk about Kazi Maju program, the labor mobility program. It's one of the pillars. It's not the only one. It's just one of the pillars. And I am a proud Kenyan today to know in the last under 3 years, we have been able to provide or to facilitate 400,000 young people to access jobs overseas. And there is nothing wrong for a young person in today's globalized world working from anywhere. It doesn't disconnect you from home. Today, someone working in Dubai can decide every 3 months to fly home, or at least once a year. Just the same way people from Busia who work in Kilifi go up country on Christmas Day once a year. There's no difference. It's only that one is in Kilifi. If you have 2 young people from Busia, and one is working in Kilifi, another one is working in Dubai, they will all go home on Christmas Day to Busia. So there is no much issue. Those who can get jobs abroad, we have a program called the Kazi Maju program, and already 400,000 young people have got opportunities. We need to expand into 500,000, 600,000, even 1 million young people. It is possible. Once we sign more bilateral labor agreements, we have already done around 6. If we do the remaining 13, we should be able to expand it to 1 million jobs through Kazi Maju alone. But we also have other programs. We are still hiring in the public service. We are hiring teachers. This is the government, I dare say, this is the administration that has hired the highest number of teachers in the history of Kenya. The statistics are there. We have hundreds of thousands of unemployed teachers. That is a fact. But it's also a fact that between 1963 and 2021, the whole country for 60 years had employed slightly over 300,000 teachers for primary and secondary schools. The statistics are there. Just ask TSC how many teachers we had by 2021. Slightly over 300,000. This administration, in under 3 years, already we have employed 76,000. In December, we'll employ another 24,000. We will have mopped out from the pool of unemployed qualified teachers 100,000 teachers in 3 years. 30% of all the teachers employed since independence. Sijui kama tunaelewana. And we saw this in our manifesto. We've not just come out and decided we want to employ teachers. We discovered we have unemployed graduates. We discovered there is a deficit in terms of staffing. We committed in our manifesto to employ 116,000 teachers in 5 years. In 3 years, we will have done 100,000. We'll be left with 16,000. We will meet the commitment in the manifesto and surpass it. And you hear some people loitering around, harassing and just inciting young people how this government has done nothing. Those are the facts. But we have other interventions that we are doing to create jobs at home, kazi kwa ground, touching on young people, not just university graduates, but also other young people who could be graduates of TVETs or even graduates who somehow could not go very far. Kazi Mtaani is back this month. It will offload 200,000 young people in the first year alone from the unemployment realm. And we will sustain it, we will not stop it. We will sustain it because there is enough work to be done to clean our environment, to clean our towns and urban centers. Even as we continue with affordable housing, we are realizing our country is becoming more and more urban. And in the next 15 years, 60% of Kenya is going to be urban. It is that serious. So we have kazi mtaani. Hiyo kazi mtaani sio ya majuu, ni ya ground. Ni hapa. We are creating jobs here. They are not going to do kazi mtaani in Dubai. Ni hapa. But we also have the affordable housing program. That affordable housing program is both a housing program, but also a job creating program. Already 300,000 young people have been absorbed in the program of constructing affordable houses and markets across Kenya. And these are different jobs. We have structural engineers in those sites, we have architects, we have quantity surveyors, we have fundis, wambao, masons, we have electrical engineers, you have everybody, even what Yamukono are there. Again, 300,000. The ICT hubs we are building, we are creating jobs kwa mtandao. Again, the figures are looking good. So cumulatively, we now have an idea. For the first time, the country has an idea how to fragment the job and income creating opportunities to enable as many young people to enter the job market and to have incomes. We have brought for the business, the youths in business, especially small businesses. We are introducing this year the Nyota program and KJET program. Nyota is for young entrepreneurs, business people in micro and small enterprises across the country, where 50, 70 businesses led by young people will get a grant of 50,000 shillings to expand their micro businesses. You can imagine the power of 70 businesses in every ward across Kenya, each business getting 50,000 shillings. So we have an end-to-end view. We may not be doing as well as we would like to, but at least now we have a roadmap. If you know where you are going, you will reach. Doesn't matter how far it is. But if you don't know where you are going, you will not reach because you could be traveling in the opposite direction. Isn't it? If you know where you are going, it doesn't matter how far your destination is, you will reach there. But if you don't know where you are going as a country, you will never reach your destination because most probably you are heading in the wrong direction. So we have kazi kwa ground, kazi mtaani, kazi ya affordable housing, employing teachers, employing people in the public service, employing people in the private sector, kazi kwa ground. Kazi mtandaoni, through the ICT hubs that we are doing for job creation in the digital space. Kazi Maju for the young people who wants to go abroad. Nyota and KJET programs to support the young people who are doing business. Nothing will prevent Kenya from turning the youth of our country into the resource that it is supposed to be. And gradually we will offload. This is a problem that has accumulated over 6 decades because nobody was brave enough to think through. They were simply inciting young people how you are not getting opportunities and what have you. So I want to conclude by saying that what we need to do as a country now, from where I sit, even as we create the hardware of job creation and income opportunities, we must deal with the software. And the software is to work, those of us who are older, those of us who are in government especially, let's work with young people and connect with them. First of all, we need to understand them. We need to also tap into their expertise because today's young person is much more knowledgeable than us who went to school earlier. That is the truth. Many adults don't want to accept. Young people are more educated. They have greater access and exposure to technology, to, early. Some of you saw a computer when you were writing your PhD. Some professors seated here. Yeah. Some of you wrote your thesis using a typewriter. Now, today, kids in primary school can use the computers very easily. So, today's young person, it's not the young person of 1970 and 1980. More educated, more powerful, they know more than us, we must accept. They may not know everything, but they know more than us, especially the things that have come up during their generation. Some of us are trying to catch up. So we must learn from our young people. But also we need to engage. There needs to be an engagement because we need a transition. Those of us who are talking to you from here today, we have a shorter lifespan, a shorter working time frame ahead of us than most of you have just started or even have not started. But we need a transition. We cannot just have a commotion and just some disruption. We are going to, as national government, to have a framework for engagement with the young people of Kenya, of all shades, those in universities and tertiary institutions, those in informal job settings, those in the countryside, those in the urban areas, so that we can understand and learn and tap into what the young people of Kenya can offer their country. It is not true that young people, because they have not started working, they don't know anything. They know a lot, and perhaps much more than the older people know. And therefore, we are going to start that engagement. And that engagement, I want to start it here from Pwani University. So when I'm coming back for that bursary maneno, I want us to have a proper town hall with Pwani University comrades. Na msiogope, mtuambie mambo yote ile maneno mnataka kutuambia. Because we need to engage with you. Tell us. Ile tu tunaomba ni the culture of violence and rudeness does not take anybody anywhere. All over the world, you can get very far through constructive engagement. The world has changed. The time when violence used to be one of the methods of resolving disputes, that time is gone. So let us engage, let us listen. Many of the things that young people are saying are actually right. They are telling those of us who are in office that corruption and stealing public money is a bad thing and it should stop. Isn't it? Any person entrusted with public funds who is siphoning those funds and diverting them to private use, that person is not just an enemy of young people, it is an enemy of Kenya. Because you're stealing the future of the nation. And some of the things that young people are saying, they are right. Our prayer is that modalities of saying these things be streamlined and just keep quiet about it. And in the next 1-2 years, you're going to see a lot of changes. I don't want to preempt the president, but you're going to hear some pronouncements as we begin a new chapter as a country of being more listening, more accommodative, and forging a national consciousness that will take us to the next level. Even the hard topics that many of us are uncomfortable discussing, you're going to hear very soon. We will start having those conversations on the hard issues of accountability, hard issues on the fight against graft and stealing of public funds, the hard issues about how those in authority treat citizens, and how security agencies engage with the people, how do the rights of people, how are they moderated. But in the process, we'll also have a very difficult conversation on how the exercise of rights must not injure the national good and hurt innocent people who have nothing to do with what you are aggrieved about. Long time ago, I used to be a university professor. So that's why I've taken that long, but I've finished. I look forward to engaging young people, not just of this university or our higher education institutions, but also our young people who may not necessarily in our institutions, but they are out there and they are looking for the government to listen to them. They are looking for the government to adjust the things that they think we are not doing right. I am going to be part of the solution, just like it was said earlier, that we need to be part of the solution, all of us, and stop the blame game. Don't allow young people, the youth of Kenya, don't allow people who have had their time, people who had had opportunity, they had a career, they did all they wanted to do, and in their dying years, they want to incite you to destroy the country and leave you with a broken country. Don't allow people who have had their time to waste your time, because you need your time so that you can also get the... Thank you very much. So nawashukuru sana, nawatakia kila laheri. Mimi naomba tumalizie hapo. Kuna vile PS alisema, and this PS is 29 years old. OUPS is 29 years old. So, and he sits at very high decision-making levels. He has access to the head of state. So, if it is getting the agenda of young people channeled into government, the PS for Youth Affairs is there, 29 years old. I don't think the president would have done anything better. So, vijana power. Vijana power. So I want to suggest that we formally have the national anthem, and then after that, the person who was supposed to come and close can come here and close with us. And once again, the leaders who have not spoken, I apologize. We just had to do it this way, but you will always be around to have your meetings. I just thought I should share a little bit, and then we finish and leave it at there. Asanteni sana. God bless you.
Your Excellency, we have